And we're on. So hello, everyone. Thank you so much for jumping on and listening to this little recorded Zoom conversation that I'm about to have with Somi. Somi is one of our 23W coaches. She's been with us for about 3 years, but Somi's got a very exciting event that's going to be popping up in the next week, and she has been a little bit MIA from 23W, doing all sorts of really important things. So we thought we'd jump on Zoom today and have a chat to Somi and find out how she is going. So Somi, over to you. Tell everybody, there'll be obviously people listening to this that maybe are 23W members and not members, but maybe just introduce yourself, tell us a bit about yourself and what you're preparing for.
Yep. Hi everyone. Some of the 23W members probably already knew me. So I teach boxing classes. You probably, been in one of my classes and probably think that, I'm disappearing. What am I doing? So just letting you know that I'm prepping for my fight, which is next Friday. So as much as I don't want to take the time off, I really enjoy training everyone, but it with like fighting and fight prep, it takes a lot of time out of my normal time. So, and it's been really nice to give me some time off. So I will be back though after next week. So really looking forward to it. At the moment, so just focusing on my cutting weight at the moment, which I think you might be interested to know what what my plan is and what I've gone through for the fight. So yeah,
amazing. And tell everybody, Somi, what got you into Muay Thai and at what level are you currently competing in?
Yes, okay. So my Muay Thai journey started 6 years ago. So when I was a kid, like 13 years old, I started doing Taekwondo. So I think that's the start of my love to martial arts. So I love, the challenges and a bit of learning of how to kick and stuff. I think that fantasy me. Then came to Australia to study, and then I started to develop like the love of fitness. So I started going to the gym, start lifting weights, start doing my PT, and then I got a gym which like opposite to my where I live at that time, and I saw it's Muay Thai, but it's written in Thai letter, and I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna start Muay Thai, which everyone knows that Muay Thai is Thai kickboxing, I should just start somewhere that's authentic, and they got the Thai letter there, so I assumed that that's authentic gym. So I went there just for fitness really, and then I got in there, fall in love, and the coach just put me in the ring and started from there. So now I have 11 fights so far. Planning to have a few more. The biggest achievement probably got my state title 2 years ago, so 3 years ago. Yeah. So
and it's been a while since you've had a fight booked in. Tell us a bit about the current fight coming up, who you're competing against, and how long has it been since your last fight?
Yes. So last fight was November 2019, just right before the lockdown, and then of course COVID hit, so we can't have any fight shows until. So this is the first fight show in Melbourne. So the show sold out. Obviously, everyone missed fighting scene. I'm fighting Nat Hughes, and she's from Queensland. So really looking forward to it. Never fought her before. She got a very different style from me, so that will be a good fight.
Amazing. And like in terms of competing, how often, obviously COVID aside, how often would most Muay Thai athletes actually compete in a year, let's say?
Yeah. So it really depends on the promoters and the shows as well. But if don't have any injuries or anything, we're probably looking at every 2 months or 3 months. But
wow,
because in Australia we're not a full-time athlete, we need to work. So it really depends on your circumstances and commitments as well.
And your next fight is Friday night, so that's a little under a week away. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling I'm really ready for the fight. Like, most of the time back in the past, I'm probably really nervous, a little bit of, oh my God, what am I doing to my life? But this time since COVID hit, I just really want to get into it. I think I really found out that this is what I want. This is my passion. And I just want to see how far I can go. So I'm really looking forward to this fight. Yeah.
And look, like, I mean, I'm pretty familiar with your training regime throughout the year, but coming into a fight, how would your training need to change coming into a fight once a fight's actually booked? Does it change? And what
Yes,
does your normal
definitely.
training routine look like, regime?
Yes. Yeah. So normal routine would be I still go to train every like 5 days a week, 3 hours a day at night, but the intensity will be like much decreased compared to what I'm doing it now. More like technical focus, working on sparring, not so much of the cardio. But of course, when we got the fight booked in, intensity gone up, increase in cardio, we need to set up a game plan of what we're going to do for this fight, think about opponents and what we're going to do it or pull it off in the fight. Diet plan need to come in. So we eat pretty healthy throughout the year, but I think like if you familiar with combat sports, you probably know that we do quite extreme weight cuts. So you gotta make sure that we have that in plan, which I have my dietitian specialized in combat sport because every sport's different. Got my strength and conditioning coach. So of course, like not don't have a fight book will be different. We might work on strength and stuff like that. But once the fight book, we might change to power, and all those that everything actually linked together. So they work together. My strength coach, my dietitian, and my Muay Thai coach just make sure that we work together. So I guess it's more plan, intensity increase, and just make sure we, refuel and ready for the fight.
And what sort of lead-in do you generally need to, I guess, dial in both your nutrition, your training? Is there a certain number of weeks that you kind of need to give yourself to get that necessary prep done?
Yeah. So, well, I guess we always try to say that whole year round we need to be ready. It's not healthy to when you get a fire and then you gotta be ready because it's a lot of taxes on our bodies. But I think we're looking at about 8 weeks out to be really into the plan, really stick to it. But we definitely need to look after ourselves. It's called 365 athletes or something. Like you
Yeah.
need to look after yourself all around. Yeah.
And in terms of your prep, would I be right in saying that the diet aspect is the hardest component to have to dial in? Or, because I know that you normally train really hard anyway. So maybe let's talk about the actual cutting of weight. It's a big part of any combat sport. What's the difference, I guess, for anyone listening to this that, is a general population person that's got aspirations to drop weight versus the kind of cutting that you need to do?
Yeah, so definitely diet is the hardest part because I don't know if I'm especially because I love my food and I eat a lot. I have a very high metabolism, so I eat a lot of food. So when we're cutting weight, the food a little bit less. It's still like a lot for normal people, but it's quite less for me. So that's the hardest part. You need to have a lot of like I think like tough mindset because you have a social event, you got your friend's birthday. I used to have a friends came down on fight week and they would go out and eat in cafe, but I would sit there with them talking and not eating anything in that
Yeah.
cafe. So I think that's the hardest part. In terms of the diet plan, I think it would be different from a normal weight loss goal because obviously we are focusing on a short term, which is the weight in day, and then after that I would eat like a lot again and then get ready for the fight. So what we calling it's manipulative your body. So there's a way that you can do that, but you need to be prepared for it. So more than 8 weeks out, we will start getting the body ready for it. So make sure we drink heaps of water. So I've been drinking like at least 3 liters of water like for 8 weeks. We need to make sure we eat a lot of carbs. So because we use a lot of cardio in our training. So carbs is actually really high, probably higher than protein, I would say. Yeah. So eat a lot of carbs. We're still losing weight. So that's what I think that it's, I believe in like calorie deficit, and I think that ANG and 23W members also the same. So you can eat carbs, but as long as it's within the calorie deficit,
So
you can
I guess
still
kind of during that phase, you're sort of focusing on maybe fat loss, like to actually see fat mass coming down.
Yes, I think that's what they're trying to do. And for the last week, we call it water loading, which is we try to cut off. First one is cut your carbs, which is reduce the carb that we, because carbs hold water, obviously. We cut the sodium because sodium hold water. So we try to get the body to release the water and don't hold it. That would help us, become heavy. And then last part is just water itself. So we're aiming to lose about 5 to 10% of the body weight by losing water on the last 5 days.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's really dangerous process, but as I said, you need to have a professional advice, and that's why I've got my dietitian, and we review it every week. We make sure that we got it all under control.
So if we're talking about sort of, I guess, actual numbers, how much body fat do you think that around you had to lose versus how many kilograms of, I guess, water? Can you put a number on it?
Well, that's a hard one because every time I'm in fight camp, my body fat's different. So I used to be 20% like last camp, and then this camp I only have 14, which was quite low already. So I guess we still can bring it. I think I'm about 9 now, which is not healthy, to be honest, but it's a short term. That's why it's okay. I just want to say that. And then after that, it's just water. And I think I also need to lose a bit of muscles as well. Which won't be a problem because in our sport it's more like a fast pace and all those.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
I think it's so interesting because obviously when a lot of people jump on the scales and they see it changing, especially for those that are looking for fat loss, it's important to remember that sometimes not everything that you are losing is just fat.
Yeah, definitely big thing with this thing, because we can lose 3 to 4 kilos in a week by just water. So scales is definitely not what you think is not body fat.
And like for those that might prescribe to say a keto diet or a low carbohydrate diet where possibly they do have a really significant drop in body weight, that could be quite a lot of just the fluid leaving the body rather than necessarily fat loss alone.
Absolutely, yeah. And your body, like, it's hard to function without carbohydrate. That's why we at least we need to eat carbs, but we still need to lose weight. So I think carbs is really important in follow your body, and you need that to function your body.
Yeah, and especially at the training intensities that you're needing to work at, like carbohydrates is your preferred fuel source, like to give you that energy that you need to be explosive and strong and powerful. So you'll weigh in on Thursday, is that right? And then you can then rehydrate and re-eat and get ready for the fight on Friday, is that right?
That's correct, yes. And people think, okay, weight in, you make weight, you can eat whatever you want. No, we actually have a certain plan that we need to make sure we eat that so we can be ready for the fight. Like the journey doesn't stop at the weight in, which I think some people that just started in combat sports, sometimes they think that, okay, weight in and then I could just eat everything I want, and then they get diarrhea right after their fight. That make sure that you do it properly.
Yeah. And so would you say this last week is the hardest part because you are needing to change your diet quite considerably?
Yes, the 5 days before the weddings are always the hardest because I cut carbs out completely. Water, it's still okay for the first 2 days, but it dropped down on the third and fourth. And
so what's a typical day look like for you food-wise at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm actually with this is my new dietitian who specializes in combat sport, and I'm actually quite surprised of what I can eat. So this week I've got obviously no carbs for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but then I get to eat peanut butter with chocolate chip and shredded coconut for dessert.
Yum.
So obviously it's water weight, so that's not gonna affect anything.
Yeah.
To be honest, just keep our blood sugar level, make you feel good during that day, and
Yeah.
so
And
that
I'm guessing when you first started out, you possibly didn't have a dietitian that you worked with. So, talk me through the process of, the things that you're learning, maybe some lessons that you've learned along the way from, preparing from first fights to versus preparing for this fight. Is there any major standout things that you've learned that you've gone, oh, geez, I remember I did that. Maybe that wasn't the best thing for my prep?
Yes, absolutely. Big lesson learned. And I think it's all also like for every female athlete, and it's a very common problem in the combat sports that we try to lose weight as much as we can without thinking that that would be dangerous for your body, especially female, your hormones, we've got period and all those, it play a big effect in that when you do weight cut. So my first fight, so now my healthy fighting weight is about 50 to 52. My first fight was 48. So I didn't have any idea of, what I can cut. I just listened to my coach and I'm like, yep, go for it. So I didn't eat for 2 days going to the fight. And then on the day, I still have to go to hot yoga and trying to sweat off. So I feel depleted. I gassed out on my first round. I lost that fight. I was still happy that I did my best because I didn't know what's going on, right? But compared to now that I know so much that was the wrong way to do, and there's so many female athletes doing this way. So it's important that you need to do it properly, and it's important that you seek an advice from people who know. So dietitian is really important.
Absolutely. And in terms of weigh-in, do you feel like you are on track to get that 50-52?
Yep. So I'm fighting 51 this fight, and definitely on track. Like sometimes my dietitian is like, wow, you're going down really fast, because I think I have a high metabolism. So it just go out like that. So yeah, definitely on track now. Really
Great.
happy. Yeah.
Amazing. And what advice would you give any young aspiring Muay Thai fighters who maybe, they maybe have never competed yet, but maybe are thinking about getting into the sport? What advice would you give them?
Yes. Seeking a professional advice. So they invest in yourself is what I want to tell them. Don't think about it's so expensive and you don't want to spend money. Like, you invest in yourself and you want to do good in the sport. So early get into strength and conditioning coach, find a really good one that know what they're doing. So shout out to my strength coach Ben from Combat Sports, dietitian. Definitely, as I've been talking to Ange, you really need to make sure you do it properly. So shout out to Jack, the combat dietitian, my dietitian, and of course my Muay Thai coach. He knows the best. So make sure that you got a great team, great coach who understand you, who knows that what you're going through. You might have a hard day at work today. So of course overtraining is never good. So if your coach understand you, know what's going on, you got a good team behind you, then I think that you will be in a good hand. So just make sure you surround people with professionals and people that support you through this journey and achieve anything.
Yeah. And for anyone that's never tried Muay Thai before, that maybe is thinking, maybe it's a 23W member that's going, oh, I know about Som, she seems a bit badass, or she seems a bit scary, or I'm not sure if I'm able to do Muay Thai. But I guess what would you tell those people in terms of if they're just thinking about, possibly turning up to their first Muay Thai session, whether it's with 23W or whether it's with JS or whether it's with another Muay Thai studio?
Yeah, well, I think it's just like everything else that you want to start, but you're scared. You just need to give it a go. If at the end it's not you, that's fine. Find something else. But there's nothing to be scary about Muay Thai. At the end of the day, it's just the same as you box jump or you lifting weight. You just use your own body, kicking and punching. And I think a good thing about learning Muay Thai or any combat sports really, it takes you like you just so in the zone that it help you in, you know, if you have a hard day, you're stressful, and you're just focusing on that like 45 minutes or 1 hour session of not thinking anything. It's actually helping you in terms of like stress relief. I think, yeah, and then learning new things is also always good for your self growth, and it's self-defense. So it's going to boost your self-esteem, give you more confidence, and at the same time, who knows, you know, you might be able to use in your real life one day. Well, we hope not, but you know, that could be helpful. Yeah.
I mean, I know I certainly love jumping on the pads with you, Somi, and yeah, for that amount of time, I don't think about anything else other than how hard I'm working. But I guess, yeah, in sort of wrapping up, you know, is there anything else that you want to chat through, or any other, you know, little gold nuggets that you've picked up along the way, or anything else that comes to mind that you think that anyone listening to this might want to know about, Somi?
I guess being a trainer, you know, at 23W and, you know, some other places, I feel like you need to be committed. Like, you know, there's so many people coming and say, I want to lose weight, I want to be stronger, but then they do it for a few months and then they disappeared. So I think it's really important that if you want to achieve something, obviously with everything in life, you need to commit into it, and you need to make a plan, have a proper plan, set your goal, make a plan, and do it without making any excuses. So I think that's just the advice for me, for anyone that either is want to lose weight, you want to get stronger, or you want to achieve anything in life. Just have to commit to do it. And with 23W, they have such an amazing community and just so knowledgeable about what she does, and the team, Asha and Dee, who are so supporting you. So you will be able to achieve those goals with their guidelines so easy. So you just need to turn up, just need to show up, put your best, and you will achieve that.
I love that, Somi. And yeah, I think it's easy for some people to sit back and go, oh, Somi's very good at Muay Thai. But what they don't see is they don't see you working a full hour day and then spending 3 hours, you know, on most nights training to get better. And to, you know, at this point, you know, you've obviously improved dramatically when you first start anything, but you're really looking for such small percentage changes, and it's the long game that you're playing to continue to make yourself better. And that concept is so universal, whether it's, you know, you're wanting to get good at learning how to play an instrument, or get better at, you know, lifting weights, or you're trying to lose weight, or whatever it might be, that it's so important that just consistency, hard work, and you're right, just actually committing and making a promise to yourself that you're just going to try and be that 1% better every day. And just by showing up, I think that's just such a good message to be sharing. Amazing, Som. So I guess from here, like, I know that you also are in business with a really good friend of yours, Joanna. You guys run some JS workshops around town. I believe you've got one happening at the moment. Do you have any others on the cards if someone is listening to this and they think, I'd love to do a workshop with you? Have you got some more plans to get some more workshops up and running?
Yes, so we planning to go to a few different locations this year, but it really depends on our flight plan as well. So we try not to, you know, do much. But yeah, keep an eye on our JS page at JS Muay Thai Instagram or Facebook, and definitely going to be more courses coming up. It's all for all beginners, so you don't have to be scared. We teach you from step 1 to, you know, till you know everything. So don't be scared, and feel free to shoot me a message if you have any questions.
Amazing. So good, Somi. Well, I can't wait to have you back in the studio. I hope that you walk away from your fight with the big belt. Do you get the big belt that goes around your waist?
No belt this time. I just wanted the win.
Well, I hope you come back with the win. But if you don't, I hope you have a great time. And thanks so much for taking the time to chat to us today. I really did enjoy listening to, what it actually takes to get ready for a fight. It sounds all very crazy, but super rewarding. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me, and really miss 23W team. And hopefully see you soon.